Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to welcome you all on behalf of Amazon hiring team. As part of this talk, I'll try to summarize last 18 years of my career, challenges that I've faced, and lessons learned. Hopefully, my experience and insights would be enriching for you all. Please also note that there will be a Q&A session at the end, so feel free to type any questions that you may have on the chat window. I am Principal Tech Program Manager, and I'm part of Amazon India Seller Fulfillment Technology org. Our org builds products to support success and improve experience of sellers on Amazon India Marketplace. There's a vision of our org, which is to transform the way India buys and sells, thereby transforming lives. And today only, I read this news, this wonderful news that Amazon India Marketplace has reached 10 lakh sellers. We started about 7 years back, and in 2013, I think there were 100 sellers. And it's a great milestone to reach this number within 7 years. So in my org, like we work backwards from the biggest set of emerging sellers in India, and we take those innovations to Amazon worldwide marketplaces. I have been involved with the launches of many of those innovative products for SMB sellers. Key being Smart Connect that provides real-time integration with various inventory sources, product to simplify store operations, improving customer experience by meeting delivery promises. As a tech program manager, I manage the design, development, and delivery of those products. About me, I've done my schooling from Jaipur and Meerut, completed my engineering from HPTI Kanpur, post which I started my career with Infosys as a software developer and gradually moved to program management role. I've worked with companies like Global Logic, HCL, Capgemini, and of course Amazon. And I've worked on various technologies like Java, J2E, C++, various databases. I've worked on many proprietary frameworks, specifically e-commerce frameworks from Oracle and SAP, and also AWS. Outside work, I spend my time reading nonfiction books, articles. I spend time with my son on fitness and meditation. I'm also a history and news buff, so I spend a lot of time keeping myself aware of the world affairs. These days, I'm reading this inspirational book by Indra Nui, My Life in Full. Growing up, I was good at academics, especially science and maths. So my career choices started from being a scientist to an IS officer, and then finally to engineering. I got a lot of encouragement from my parents to build a successful career, and to be honest, I wouldn't have been here without their support. Coming to my career, and this is my LinkedIn timeline. I started my career with Infosys, and being in Infosys at that moment, at that time was a very proud moment. Infosys was growing exponentially. It had reached the $1 billion mark, and company was also admired for the kind of brand it had built in India. I still cherish the values and learning that I got from Infosys. I came from a non-com science background, so I had to go through the computer fundamentals training. And post my training, I joined the team working in navigation domain for a company called Navtech. I was relocated to Chandigarh. So this company, Navtech, was a top provider of electronic maps based on first-hand observation. Our major project was to create validation rules that would be run before adding data to the navigation database. Another project was to build a standalone application to open compare geographic data files, and RAM wasn't that profusely available at that time. So we really had to utilize computing resources optimally. I programmed in Java, core Java, and Swings at that time. While working with Navtech, like me and my colleagues, like we often used to discuss that using a navigation device in India would be impossible. because at that time we didn't think that address geocoding India's data would be possible. Now I can't imagine reaching a new location without using Google Maps. My next project with Infosys was with Amazon, for which I relocated to Seattle. Amazon at that time had a division where it was using its technology to develop e-commerce websites for other major retailers like Timex, Marks and Spencer. I worked there for almost 2 years to switch between various technologies, Java, J2E, Perl, front end. I also got introduced to contemporary work practices, agile methodologies like Scrum, pair programming, test-driven development, and its various ceremonies like daily stand-ups, retrospectives, sprint planning meeting. It was good to work with people like who were so passionate, not just about the what work they're doing, but also how they were doing it. And at that time, also, Amazon was a very innovative company. In our division, while there were 5 teams that were building websites for the retailers, there was a separate team that was completely dedicated to build a new framework using latest J2E technologies. After Amazon, I moved back to India for personal reasons. I joined Global Logic. I had my kid at that time, so I was taking things slowly professionally. I did not have exciting project at that time. Moreover, it was post 2008 recession period, so company was also going through slump. I did not get very challenging project, but I continued working, learning new skills, trying out my hands in other languages like C++. Here, I just wanted to touch upon the topic of that as many women quit post maternity as they find it hard to juggle between work and family. Though it's a personal choice, and a lot of it also depends on your family circumstances. But what I would suggest that even though like you may feel you're not able to do justice to both your professional and personal life, I would recommend to not completely quit your career. Right? Try to work partially or take that time to reskill yourself. Career may become stagnant for some time, but over the years you'll be able to compensate for that lost time. Many these days, sorry, many companies these days have programs to provide opportunity to women who have taken a break in their career to help them reintegrate and return to work. Amazon also has such a program called Rekindle. So if you're in that phase, if you are planning to return to work, please explore the opportunities there on Rekindle portal. So that was about my stint at Global Logic. After that, I joined HCL, where I got the opportunity to work on Oracle e-commerce framework. There, I decided to move to a technical manager role. For this, I took additional project that I supported as a program manager while also coding for another project. During that time, like I spent a lot of midnight oil, managing project in daytime and coding in night. And the project that I had joined as a program manager was also in bad shape. Like there were 3 other teams from different geographies were working on the same code base. A team was lagging behind with the features that we had to deliver, and becoming face of the team at that time was like shooting myself in the foot. But somehow we managed and we were able to deliver on time. It was a stressful but a fast track learning experience for me. Post that project, like entirely moved to delivery manager role, and I then again changed job, and I moved to Capgemini, joined the digital practice there. I got a lot of good opportunities at Capgemini too. So when I joined there, I was supposed to lead one project, but when I left Capgemini after a span of 3 years, I was leading 4 projects. Mostly worked on B2B e-commerce implementation there. And before Capgemini, I was mostly working on the on-premises infrastructure, but there, like I also got exposure to cloud infrastructure over AWS. So after that, like I got an opportunity with Amazon, and I joined Amazon as a senior tech program manager. And Amazon was and is a great learning experience for me. And here it continues to be a day one, even after completing almost 5 years. I've been involved in building many products for Amazon India. And as a TPM, like I wear multiple hats and I collaborate with various cross-functional stakeholders. I work with product team to detail out the requirements, possible potential solutions. I work with developers and delivery managers to come up with the technical design and manage the delivery of multiple complex projects. What I love about Amazon is that every day is a learning experience. You can take risks. You have freedom to innovate. You work with very talented people, and you also insist on high standards. So there are three things that I wanted to specifically talk about, which I think are peculiar to Amazon's culture, and I really think these are like unambiguously great things about Amazon. So the first one is the leadership principle. So Amazon has 16 leadership principles. Two were recently introduced in 2021 only. So these 16 leadership principles are ingrained in Amazon's culture. So these are key to driving behaviors. It's really fascinating to see how everyone uses these on daily basis. So people demonstrate these through our actions every day, like be it hiring decisions, rating employee superpowers, or their improvement areas, taking up business execution decisions. Some of these principles are continuum to each other, while some may seem like a paradox, but they are present to balance each other. And whenever we have contradictory views, we have excellent mechanisms such as hotly debated topics, one-way versus two-way door decisions that help in reaching a consensus. In fact, like our leadership reviews, many a time our reviews, for reviews, we present the hotly debated topic upfront so that we can present different point of views and get the feedback from the leadership. So I'll not cover all the leadership principles here, like you can read about it in detail if you're interested. But I wanted to cover two of those. But I would recommend you to read about it. It's present on about Amazon.com, and it will really help you in your professional work and also other aspects of life. So the first leadership principle that I wanted to cover is ownership. When I joined Amazon, I thought ownership means, being accountable for my work, being very diligent with my work. But what ownership means is that you're looking at wider and long-term view of the problem and not just solving a problem tactically or limited to your role or team. So in Amazon, irrespective of the role, everyone is empowered and encouraged to take decision for the long term, right? Even if it means sacrificing short-term gains. So I'll share a couple of such instances, like say I am part of Amazon India on, but we have a basic tenet that we build products that can be scaled to other mature and emerging countries too. Similarly, in my role, like I manage the delivery of the products and execution of building of those products. But even post launch, also, I regularly review the launch metrics or adoption metrics to understand if there are any gaps in products that we have built and if what new features that we can build to build for the customer delight. The second principle that I wanted to talk about is the dive deep. When I joined Amazon, what I liked about it, that all the leaders were well aware of what is happening on ground. Amazon is a data-driven company, so we have different audit mechanisms defined to regularly review both tech and business metrics, customer anecdotes. We have mechanisms to do the root cause analysis if the metrics and customer anecdotes don't match. And we have like dedicated regular reviews of these metrics, right, and to keep those in check. For me, as a tech program manager, whenever I start a new project, I don't just look at the summary metric, but I also understand like how that metric is arrived. What is the relevant customer feedback to validate that we are looking at the right problem to solve. Can the solution that we are building, is it just solving the superficial issue, or maybe we dig deeper to understand the root cause, whether that solution will also solve for some other use cases also. So here's one tip that I would like to share about the hiring process. And if any one of you has gone through the Amazon hiring process, you must have received these leadership principles handbook from the recruitment team. And as part of the hiring process, apart from your core skills, selection process also evaluates whether candidate is aligned with these principles or not. So if you are looking at opportunities at Amazon, I suggest you come up with situations from your past work experience that are aligned with these leadership principles. Try to come up with these situations in a star format, which is situation, task, action, result, and also reflection. So learning from your work that you have done is also very important. How you're going to improve that in future is also important. What are the mistakes that you have made, and how you are going to improve upon it is also important. So this star format also, like, it helps you provide the clarity of thought. It holistically covers every aspect of the information related to that situation. So to all those who are in this call today, I would highly encourage you to try out opportunities at Amazon. The next thing that I wanted to cover about is the writing culture at Amazon. It also resonates with the dive deep culture. So in my previous companies, we frequently used these beautiful PowerPoint slides during meetings. Whereas at Amazon, our most used tool is document writing. We require document for almost all our meetings, and during each meeting, we, like, all the participants, like, take initial few minutes to go through the document, note down points, any questions that they may have, and post, when the folks have gone through the document. After that, we start the discussion. Of course, there is a process to keep, time in check. Like, maybe we'll have, like, say, initial 15-20 minutes to go through the document. So, for the participants, what document does it? It provides a good view of the relevant data point, right? It provides a narrative, right? Not just the high level status. And for the person who's writing the document, who's the presenter, it helps them go dig deeper, right? And presents a balanced view. We avoid weasel words like, many, better, but provide specific data backed metrics. For me, how it helped me was, because there is a right culture in place, and then there is a reinforcement. You have to present a document in the meeting, right? Like, well, if you're going to the meeting, you just can't go with a PowerPoint presentation, or just, have plain discussion. So for me, it helped me in becoming a concise writer. It helps me to go a couple levels deeper to find the underlying problems. The third thing that I wanted to talk about was is the day one culture. So the day one concept forms the basis of Amazon manifesto. Idea behind day one culture is like how relevant you can stay in the industry. To drive day one, the most important trait is listening to your customers. So, customer obsession is at the heart of day one culture, and it is also our first leadership principle. So, we start working backwards from the needs of the customer. So, typically, if you've seen, companies have the requirement document or user story document to start any project, right? But at Amazon, our requirement document starts with PRFAQ, which is the public release and frequently asked questions. This helps us to understand that at the end of the day, what is the product we are going to build from customer point of view? What will be the frequently asked questions by customers? And then those customers can be anyone, right? It could be a seller, it could be a buyer, it could be an API developer, or our internal ops team too. The second important trait is keep yourself up to date with the latest technology trends. And at the same time, also understand the user trends, the market trends, right? What is the user behavior now? The third thing is to keep innovating and simplifying things for your customers. So, and once you have all these things, it is important to take high quality and high velocity decisions. Like depending on the complexity of the design, it is reviewed with the samurai group. So suppose we do have a process, right, where like if the design is very complex, if we review it with, there is a in our we have a samurai group. It could be a PE group also with whom you can review it. And we also have these mechanisms which I shared earlier, like hotly debated topic, one way versus those decisions to reach consensus and to reach those decisions in high velocity. For me, day one also means that the learning has not stopped. We invest on a continuous learning and coaching others. We have also have many tech talks for all kind of roles to enrich our skill set. Last, I want to just summarize my learnings from the last 18 years. For me, what has worked is to take calculated risk and getting out of my comfort zone, be it changing role, taking up a project in new technology domain, or taking a project even if it had some red flags. Another thing is to consistently invest in your learning and improving your skills. It is good to be satisfied in your current role, but at the same time, don't get complacent and try to see how you can expand your scope. The other thing is you should have expertise in your role, but don't limit your knowledge to that role only. Like when I was managing delivery in Capgemini, even though my role was primarily to manage people and delivery management, and but yeah, I used to go through, say, like the infrastructure documents, what is the performance testing strategy, etc. I would understand it, discuss with the technical architect in my team, and share any feedback if I have. And the last and the most important is like invest in your overall growth, work out, eat healthy, have some me time, and spend time on your hobbies or things that you like to do. So with that, like I would like to thank you for taking out time. Now I'll take some questions that you may have shared on the chat. Uh, Stop sharing my screen. Okay. So the first question is by Savita. So Savita is asking, like, in your experience of working with different companies, how do you think Amazon is different, and what do you like about working here? So first of all, like definitely, it's very different in the sense in my previous companies. Like first of all, I think in most of the companies we talk about the mission of the company, what is the vision of the company, but only at Amazon that I've seen that it is actually implemented. So, like I talked about this leadership principles today, I talked about the writing culture, day one culture at Amazon. It is actually followed, right? It is not something which is just there on paper. So that's the important thing. The other second thing, important thing is you're customer obsessed. Like you are not just trying to build some product, but you're also trying to understand what is the actual customer problem. And the another thing with that is you can see what is the actual results, like how the products that you have built is actually solving problem for say millions of customers. The third thing is in the sense I feel like here you are self-managed. Like the good thing that I have seen is you have more flexibility in terms of working, in the sense you are accountable for your work, but no one is like tracking the time when and where you should be present in the office, right? You are more responsible for your work. So that is the third good thing. Plus, we also insist a lot on high standards. So, if you're working on your coding problem, if you're working on any document, you get a lot of good feedback from people. So, which also helps in enhancing your skills. Uh, Then there is a next question is by Divya. It is on any tips on ramping back tech career after a break. First of all, really, it's good to see Divya, you're thinking about joining the tech workforce back. Definitely, like tech workforce needs a lot of diverse candidates. I would say I'm not sure what is the core skills that you had, but definitely brush up those core skills. Go through, maybe if you have the design documents or whatever documents that you have worked on, just brush up through those. What are the technologies that you have worked on? See what are the latest trends, like maybe if you have worked on in Java technology, what is the new changes to the new versions of JDK. See the latest trends. These days, like there is no dearth of the videos or data points, the training material that is available on internet. You can go through Coursera and Udemy, just go through it, and after that I think you can try. And definitely, like as I shared earlier, like there are programs like Rekindle and all, which provides the opportunities to join the career back after a break. So next question that I have got is from Gia. So the question is, where would someone fit in at Amazon with 12 to 14 years of development experience? So, yeah, like at Amazon, it's not necessary. Like I know many companies, like, after a while, like say if you're into the development profile, the only career path is like you have to grow into a management role. But in Amazon, we do have an individual contributor. We also have a management profile. So suppose if you are an SD, we have different levels of SD, starts from SD 1, 2, 3, and then you can grow into a principal engineer. Similarly, my role is also an individual contributor role. I joined as a senior tech program manager. I'm principal tech program manager now. Plus, Amazon also provides a lot of flexibility. Like I have seen people moving from an SD role to a SDM role, delivery manager role, which also includes people management. I have seen people moving from quality assurance engineers to a tech program manager role. So that way also it provides a lot of flexibility, and you can always join back as a SD also. If you're interested only in development, you can join as an SD, or if you're interested in people management and if you have some past experience as a people manager, you could join in the SDM role also. The next question is by Shilpa, like what is the career path for SD at Amazon? What kind of career paths can someone explore? So as Shilpa, as I said, I think previously, like this, the same question is in line with the previous question only. So with SD, you can grow as an individual contributor. For your growth, it is not necessary that you need to move to a people manager role. You can be an SD, SD1, principal engineer, and so forth. Similarly, you can also explore, like say, technical program manager role. Also, you can explore software development manager role also. So there are a lot of opportunities available, and you can always shift depending on what you want to do. Okay, so the next question is by Shruti, and her question is, what are the tips for fresher technical program manager in startup? What would future career path look like? So, for a technical program manager, I think the important skills are like, you need to have a very balanced view, right? You need to understand the technology at a high level. At the same time, you should be able to dig deeper if there is a requirement. But you should be able to tie the things together. Like at Amazon, like I have to, because Amazon uses a microservices architecture. There are hundreds of team and they own different services. So as a technical program manager, if I have to build a solution, I should be able to tie different services together. So that is a very important part of a technical program manager, problem solving and high level design. Then program management is also, you should be able to come up with the project management plan. You should be able to hold people accountable to that project management plan. And then communication is also very important. You should keep people updated about, what is the progress, how's the progress going on, if there are any risk, etc. So definitely, if you are trying out a technical program manager, I think even on internet there are like a lot of problem solving the trainings available for a TPM. You could go through it. The next question is by here, which is what would you consider as the most important tip while interviewing at Amazon? So, definitely one thing is your core skills that you have. It could be a developer, it could be a QA. You should be able to clear those interviews. Then the second thing, which I also covered, was the leadership principles, right? So even before, like, you come up for the interview, just write down and what all work that you have done in your past. See, like, what all situations you could come up with from that particular work, and how does it align with the Amazon leadership principles. Like, suppose if it's a dive deep question, so maybe you should be able to go deeper. Like, even if suppose you are a tech program manager, but you should be able to go deeper into why you solved that problem. How did you solve? How did you make the that particular uh, solution scalable? So next question is, Disha, like how can I switch from SD role to TPM role? So Disha, I also did that. Like I also moved from a developer role to TPM role, and definitely in your current company, because if you want to change job at that time, you need to have some prior experience as a technical program manager. But within your same company, I would suggest you to take up some additional project. Maybe if either you can completely go into, if your company provides that opportunity, you can completely ask them, I want to try this role for 6 months. But if that does not happen, maybe you can take a smaller project, maybe a lower visibility project as a tech program manager, and also at the same time you can work on the SD part also. So I think these are all the questions that I had. Hopefully, the session was helpful to you all. And again, before closing, again, I'll encourage you all to go to Amazon Jobs, explore the opportunities available with Amazon. Thank you, everyone.